Hello and welcome to KnightHunter Books. Today we're going to do a review of a book that we both read recently that we both absolutely loved. That book is In Other Lands by Rees Brennan. We're going to keep this video pretty spoiler free. So actually this is probably my favourite book of the year, or at least it's my favourite book of the year so far. And you know, we're in November. I rated it 4.75 stars, which is a bit ridiculous, so for me.
And I don't rate books, but I did really enjoy it, so. And I must have really obviously enjoyed it, because normally when I enjoy a book and put it on Bex's TBR, it stays there for an average of 2 years. This lasted a month.
Yes, you were emphatic. And just the bits that you'd read to me or told me about had hooked me enough, so hopefully this video will give you a little snippet of those.
Should say thank you to Worldcon for giving us this in the Hugo Voters packet.
Yeah, so it's quite a new book out. I think it might be hardback at the moment. So yes, definitely one to look out for in bookshops.
I'm not sure I've seen it in the UK at all.
No. We did see it in America though, in a bookshop. So yeah, you might have to hunt, but it's worth it. This book would probably be marketed as YA. Really what it's all about is deconstructing portal fantasies. So while I would definitely recommend it for a YA audience, it's actually really fun if you've read quite a lot of portal fantasies already, and because it's so aware of the tropes of the genre, it's really fun to read as an adult that used to read a lot of those stories.
There's also a bit of dialogue with Harry Potter as well.
Yes, and C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
So this book follows a main protagonist from the age of about 13, or kind of a young teenager, up until he's 18.
It's worth noting, when you first meet him, he's kind of annoying. He's
very annoying.
Supremely confident that he is the smartest person in the room. As the book goes on, you come to... he's not necessarily less annoying, you just realise that he's right.
Yes, and he makes some really good points. I mean, he is a bit of a douche and kind of mean to the other characters, but generally they can cope with it. And he's also got like a really solid backstory that helps you understand why he is the way he is. And he's annoying to the level at which I'm sure we've all met people like that too.
Or occasionally feared we are those people.
So Elliot, right at the start, is kind of selected to cross the border. He's kind of one of the chosen few that is able to cross the border into a magical world where he is recruited to a boarding school. I say recruited because it's not really your typical magic school. In fact, there's not really much magic at all. It's really more of a war training school.
Yeah. The humans are in an embattled state. There's a number of intelligent humanoid species, and humanity has a fairly precarious toehold in this world.
And those magical creatures are really what makes it fantasy in some ways. They are your kind of your typical fare, your elves and your dwarves, mermaids in particular feature, and trolls, harpies, yeah.
The elves are particularly worthy of mention because this is one of the really fun things that Rees Brennan does with this book. So the elves are deeply misandrist. They take the same sort of biological differences between men and women and use that as a basis to keep men sheltered, secure, looking after children, because obviously you couldn't trust them with anything dangerous.
Yeah, like women are used to blood, used to pain, you know, they do the childbirth. So obviously then that makes sense that the women would be the ones to, you know, go out and fight battles. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, men are meant to look pretty and remain pure. There is a kind of main trio of friends, and one of them is an elf, and she is one of the first of her people to go to this boarding school. So there's a lot of points where her culture and the human culture clash, which are quite entertaining because she doesn't understand why they make a fuss when she takes her top off to, you know, go swim in the lake.
Because obviously female breasts are functional, whereas male breasts are ornamental, and they're the ones that should be protected, should be covered up.
So much sense. And that is one of the other things I really liked about the story, was that kind of golden trio friendship, which is complicated. There's conflict, there's confusion about how much they like each other, and, you know, people being defensive and not wanting to be hurt. And because those characters feel so real and their relationships are so well drawn, I was very much in shipping mode. And one of the reasons I rated this so highly was just because it was that really good combination, which I don't find very often, of incredibly fast-paced, funny, where I really cared about the characters. It's got some really sad moments, but it also felt important and original, with some really good representation of sexualities. Bi representation.
It's very much bisexual rather than bi-romantic depiction, so this is probably towards the upper end of the YA age bracket, but I think it's quite sensitively done, and includes representation of biphobia, and some stuff about conflict, because obviously fantasy books can quite often be very much kind of, well, they're green, they're goblins, so we kill them and take their stuff because they're obviously evil. And actually, the protagonist in this is a pacifist, and he makes some very pointed comments about the morality of conflict with other intelligent species in general, and of training child soldiers in particular, which is something you don't often think about with regards to YA.
And he's very frustrated because he wants to go down the diplomatic track in the school, which has become less and less important over time. So that's kind of our froth about the book. We don't really have any negatives to say about it, except for the fact that the main character could be grating. It does get better when you understand his background more. Yeah, so we definitely recommend it. If you have any questions about it, or if you've read it as well, then please comment down below. We would love to have more people to chat about with this book.
So if you've been enjoying the spoiler-free nature of this video, be warned, there may well be spoilers in the comments.
Yes. Thank you for watching. We will see you again soon.